cannot become close to life without believing something about ourselves. And the true, if there is a sign of freedom, then it must be this openness. If we find ourselves becoming too closed, rigid, then it can't really be freedom. And this is not necessarily about the outward expression. It's more in the sense of this inner constriction or inner ideas about how life should be and how people should be. When we start believing these things, these are dependent on the sense of a separate me. We cannot be open and suffer at the same time. You see? Yeah, the mind can say, but I'm open and I'm suffering. That was a reaction. You see? And even when it feels like that, I know that this sense can come that it feels like that, then we must be open to this sense of suffering also. So, if you're not open to that, we say suffering should not come. Okay, everything else can come, but suffering should not come, then suffering will come. And it's wonderful if it comes so fast, then you can make a linkage between it. The trouble in life sometimes is that our prayers are answered with some time lapse. You see, or the suffering because of our beliefs doesn't come instantly sometimes after picking up the belief. So we're not able to make a straightforward correlation. You see, but it's just instant. The minute you believe something, the suffering that is bound to come because of that belief, it came right then you would never pick up a belief again, isn't it? If the play were just like that, the instant I believed myself to be a person, whack. The instant, the slightest belief in something, some attachment, whack. Then how fast would we drop this power of believing, this power of pretending? Very fast. Like I take that example, isn't it? We were in Delhi maybe 2 years ago or last year, and we were walking the roads, and there was this 10 rupee note or 50 rupee note on the floor, and people were bending down to pick it up, and there were people who had tied it to the string and they were pulling. Yeah? So, and it was April Fool's Day, so people were having fun fooling people like this. But this is what the mind does. It gives us this note, you see, and says, "Here it is. Come on, I'm right here. Pick it up. It's available to you." You see, and you go for it, but the whack is not instant necessarily. You see, so we pick it up and say, "Yeah, this could actually work. This could actually work. I could actually become a person who has this attribute or quality or something, has this attachment." Yeah. Yeah. But anything that is personal is bound to lead to some suffering eventually. And we've seen this. In the past, we are easily able to say, but we not so easily making that conclusion about our entire life. Because the mind comes up with a fresh $5 bill and something says, maybe this one is not tied to a string. Maybe it's not fooling me this time. And we go for it with our belief. And what happens? Again, anything personal does lead to this. It is inevitable. You see? It's just that the play in time seems to take some time for our attachments to cause us some pain. And that is what gives juice to this play. Because if it were just to happen like that April Fool's Day trick, after 3 or 4 notes, maybe we don't bend for the fifth one, sixth one. You know, this is what's going on. I'm not falling for it. Even if I lose 100 rupees, 200 rupees. You see. because you know it is strings attached. Attachment, strings attached, always. There is nothing that you need from the mind. You don't need any of the plans. You don't need any ideas. You don't need anything that will help you run your life. Life is already running. Life is happening. The mind is just sitting and making ideas up about it, trying to subtitle life at a very fast rate. And it's become very good at this. You see, one of the days I was doing Hindi translation in the room at the back, and I realized that this real-time translation is a very Zen exercise, you see, because you have no time. It's happening there. Just imagine if you had to translate in Sindhi or Hindi or whatever language you have to translate. Right now, I'm speaking, and you have to write then. So if you just let go and let it happen like that, you see it flows a lot more naturally. But if you sit and say, I'm going to do it like this now, he said this, what should I translate to? Then it's so that intelligence which can do it in real time is the one that is running this life. How is it that when we keep the mind out of it into this which seems like such a mindy activity, we need to refer to our vocabulary, we need to refer to so many things, even then, when we just let it flow spontaneously, it's so free, it's so natural. And even if some words don't come properly, there's great spontaneity in that, and there's no guilt which is arising. You're just moving. So life is moving in real time. It's the mind which is trying to do the translation, the subtitling. You see, and if we are living with that interpretation of what life is like, you see, then it's like leading a second-hand life. You see, second-hand, the mind's version of what my life is called suffering. Pretending to lead the mind's version of what my life is called suffering. I like this definition actually. It just came first time today. It's good. Yeah. Just like this. We see that life is just what it is. In this moment, there's so much joy. Even if you were to just explore it objectively, you'll find, look at this. We're in a room in the middle of Bangalore somewhere, you know, and there are beings from all over the world who've come like this, and we just met somewhere, sometime, and some connection happened, and we're here, and we're in Satsang. You see, like this, it's so beautiful, isn't it? That this is even happening like this, isn't it? Just like this, there's so much wonder available, even like this, to contemplate. But it's even more wonderful when even these ideas are dropped, just in the now. Just wow, this body is still here without even these ideas. That this body of Ananta is still here. You see, it's still, this voice is like this, it sounds like this. There's so much to enjoy in this realm in every moment. Even when tears are coming, you see, there's something that enjoys even this. Hmm? Like the taste, different taste, contrast. So there is nothing in this realm which consciousness is not enjoying. It's like going to different types of movies, you see. I love superhero movies, but can I watch one every day? No, probably. Can I watch one every moment of the day? No. You see, if I was just watching superhero all of the time, then I would say maybe give me a nice comedy, give me something. This is what happened. So, like this, every contrast is enjoyed here. But if you go with the mind's version, it's always saying, but you're making your life a mess. Or it is saying, you're doing such a great job, you're too good, you're too good. This is either pride or guilt. Either pride or false humility. Either we're feeling too good, or too bad, too bad. Right? This neutrality, which comes with this just sense of wonder, goes missing when we follow the mind's version of what life is. Because everything, even now, it can be sitting and picking and choosing. Yeah, this one, this, yeah, he's being very funny today. Yeah, this is good, good. Something is, you see this, you notice even in satsang, how it tries to be your friend and help you with what is happening in satsang. We don't need its help. In fact, it is only confusing you. You see? Very often I say that I'm saying ABC, ABC, ABC. The mind is saying XYZ, XYZ, whatever you call it. You see? Saying, and that's why it happens so many times where someone comes and says, "You said this in satsang yesterday," and I have two types of trouble with that. One is I hardly remember what is said in satsang, and the second is what they're saying. Many times feels like it never left these lips. You see, it never feels like it came from there. And many times it hadn't been spoken like that. Why do we remember something seemingly that this mouth had said but never left this mouth? Because we are also listening to what our mind is saying about them. Saying, this is good, let's keep this, we're saying this one, he just something, you can always, it's trying to participate even now. And this is what I mean by second hand life. Life is just happening as life, but we are buying the interpretations from the mind about life. You see, because if we were not buying this interpretation, nobody could ever say my life is so messed up. Nobody can ever say my life is messed up or is terrible. Because just to have life is such joy, is great wonder. Just to have this, even this body, which is such a beautiful instrument, is breathing, is digesting, blood is flowing. How many mechanisms are happening in this body to just have this gift of this body present, even if it's ill, is amazing. You could not life is such a terrible life unless we are going with this mind interpretation. Just we exist, I exist. Isn't that such a wonder? I wonder if you're with me in this. Just this sense of existence is here. Just this is enough. Do we need anything more than this? I exist. Consciousness is here. God is present. What else can we need? And who is there to need? In this moment right now, God is here. It is you. Now, what complaint can you have? This is the Leela, you see. And most of us in Satsang have also seen this. I am. This is consciousness. In the light of this, I am. All this is happening. God is here. And yet I can go with this measly thought. It says my life is not good. What should I do with my life? What's going to happen to my life? Who? Doesn't exist. It's God's life. This entire manifest creation is God's body. And God is running it. Now complain from this place about anything at all. You cannot unless you've again been listening to this voice as well as your mind's voice or only the mind's voice, even while this has been happening. You cannot do it. And it's good to check like this. What am I listening to? Even in satsang, what am I listening to? Hey, God is here. It's God's life. Nobody else is here. I know this. So what should I do next? These kind of questions come, no? The still like that pesky mosquito which just doesn't go away. Ever since I was a kid, actually, Mosquitoes have been very attracted to me. So I could be sleeping with my brother, and, while growing up and things like this. Everybody else is fine. I get up the next day with big mosquito bites and things. So I had a relationship with mosquitoes, and you realize that some days, no matter what you do, you put repellents, you put the fan on full, you keep the AC temperature completely low, you put all the things possible, and there will always be these one or two mosquitoes that will keep buzzing in your ear. They just don't go. And at the end, you just have to accept them and say, okay, tonight is going to be like this. I can't believe I'm saying all this in Satsang, but okay. You see, so it's just this to come to say, okay, this pesky guy which doesn't exist will keep saying something or the other, you know. But this is how this life is going to be. And in that acceptance, then actually automatically our attention moves away from the mosquito. It is when we don't want it to be there, then we're constantly, is it there? Is it there? Is it there? So even the time when it's not there, we are still troubled by it. You notice this? That when we want it to go away, then even the times in which it is not there, we are troubled by it. This is a very important point about the mind. Because many of us now, having been in satsang, want the mind to go away. So even the time in the space between the thoughts, you're like, I hope it doesn't come back. What is happening? This sense of concern can be there. Okay? So it has got you even when it is not there. The sense of fear about it. So the mosquito has you even when it is not there if you want the mosquito to go away. Is this example making any sense? The mosquito satsang. Yeah? And we're here to hear the pristine words of nectarine knowledge. And we're hearing about mosquitoes and repellent and you know that's very good to see like this, no? That if we come to this stage that I just want the mind to go away, then we're living in this constant fear that I hope it doesn't come, isn't it? But if you just accept, yes, this voice will say something or the other, but it doesn't really matter. It's bitten me wherever it could now. It's done. You know? There's nowhere else left to bite. Our mind has done this to us, or it will do. Whatever attachments we still hold on to will be burned. You see? This is the functioning of life. So you'll see that there's nothing to be concerned about it. And in this acceptance, you find that your attention is not so much getting taken up by the mind, not getting taken up by worry and guilt. You're open, just open. And life is constantly trying to open you up, constantly. And if you're not open to this opening, then it feels like my life is so terrible. And if you become open to everything, then you can say only life is so wonderful. It becomes like that. So right now, we can audit and see what is it that we are resisting. And all of us have some mental boundaries about what should or should not happen in life. And these boundaries, life is constantly expanding. Sometimes we don't even know we have these boundaries and ideas, and life shows us in a mirror. See, this was still there. Here, gone, back. Yeah. And as long as we are open to this whacking, because in satsang, this whacking is our prayer, you see. And many times we make the prayer, and when it happens, we're like, why, why would this happen to me? You see? It is also an answered prayer. Everything allowing you to let go of all concepts, even the holiest concepts, letting go and coming to unassociated presence. Even those concepts which seemingly were in service to us, we realize that they never could be. Just another concept. Better to make a list of all our sacred and holy concepts and burn them now only. Because no concept is true, and life shows us. So, this openness to allow everything to be burnt. So, if you're holding on to some idea of who we are in a clenched fist, with nothing inside, just an idea of who we are, life is constantly trying to open it up, you see. Yeah. So, the harder we resist this opening, the stronger the pain will be, stronger the suffering will be. Very
Can I
often, what
come up?
just give me a minute, my dear. Just after
What?
this point,
Yeah.
after this point. Yeah. Very often, when you hear this, it can feel like what I'm saying is, I want you to become passive. Just become passive. Just this opening means whatever is happening, you just sit and let it happen to you. Let life, let everybody come abuse you, say whatever. This is what the mind is painting this picture for you sometimes. See, but this is not what I'm saying. We are open to even that which is flowing from this body, the action or the inaction which is flowing from here. There's openness and acceptance of that. And that is when you realize that there is nobody who is doing anything at all. All of this is just life moving. You see, there's no Ananta which is moving this hand. There's no Ananta which is speaking these words. There is no doer in that individual way. There is no experiencer also in that individual way. So all of this is a play of light and sound, time and space, which consciousness itself is doing for its own experiencing. And that consciousness is here. It sounds to me like a great cause of celebration actually. Yeah. But if you're not, at least you're not celebrating, at least can we be just neutral about it? What is it really that we are suffering from? What is it that makes our life so terrible? If life has given us the space to be in this satsang right now, what a wonderful life it is. You see? For us to be together in one sangha, in the energetic field of satsang. This is so wonderful. Yeah? And this doesn't mean that I'm advocating some sort of, you know, behavior which is just always like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so not like that. Not in that forced way. You see? Just in that openness, automatically the sense of joy and wonder can come. You don't have to force anything that, oh, I heard today God is here, so I must always smile or something. Not like that. You see? Just to see this to be true and naturally let life unfold how it wants to is enough. So just So openness like this to whatever life brings, and especially when it is in contradiction with any idea I have about myself.